So today I am doing something a little different. I grabbed a pack of R&F Pigment sticks. Let me show one. This is the blending stick, and it came, all of them, I've been using them and playing with them, and they were so much fun. And there's not many videos on them. This is one of the blending sticks. It's a handmade paint stick, and it's oil paint. So I'm gonna sit these things on just a piece of paper that I'm going to discard later. So they come, I bought one of the sets, and I'll put a link to it, or at least a description. I bought it from blick.com, blick.com. And you get this gesso board that they all fit in. It's like a dozen of them. And they're not cheap. They're, I don't know, they're pretty pricey, but super fun. And you can buy them individually. I bought some individually of colors I knew I wanted, and then I bought the kit. I know some people don't like to buy a kit, but you got this board free with the kit, and I taped this off with painter's tape. I did not, when I was doing this, I wanted to give it a background, but this edge right here doesn't seem to dry, so that needs to be wiped off. I don't know. I'm going to see if it'll stain, and we're just going to see what happens. So this is my first time trying this. Just kind of wanted to do a start to finish because I haven't seen a start to finish video. There is a wonderful artist named Lisa Pressman who I believe works for R&F Paints. And it's just rnfpaints.com or something like that. And she has some great videos, but it's short little snippets of classes that she did. So this I painted about a week ago, and I just kind of pressed it on, and I don't have what I used. I will go grab that. I scratched through with, I don't know, a palette knife, and I wanted to get down to the white. And I know this takes multiple layers to do. And since it's oil paint can take up to 7 days to dry. This has been drying for a week. And one of the things she said was, if you don't know if it's dry, take a piece of plain old tissue paper. And if it's dry, nothing will come up. Now, if you want it to dry quicker, you can take tissue paper and lift some of the oil and the paint off, and that will help thin it and all that. I am going to go get my little tool that I use to spread this on. Okay, so this is a catalyst wedge, and I got this from blick.com. I love this. She uses something, it's a bowl scraper. You can get it off a mesomizer, I think is what it's called, and a bowl scraper. But I've got a lot of tools. I've got this little spreader. This used to say scrapbook.com. And then I've got my trusty brayers. So I thought I kind of like this shape right here. So I'm just going to try. Some people use gloves. I'm just going to try it barehanded. And I think I'm going to use, okay, this is messy. So if you don't like messy, these may not be the things for you. This is Turkey Umber Green. Now, this is not a color I would have picked, but it was in and it did break. And I've got the rest of it. You know what? I'm just going to use that. It broke, and the rest of it is in a Ziploc bag, and that's going to keep my hands clean. I'm just going to rub it over the top and get a dark, what I want is something dark under this. I could do it under here. Why don't I do that? I like that shape, and I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn this around. And these things are really nice. I really like these. Okay, so we'll just see, because this is coming across a little lighter. This is like a magenta. This is an ultramarine blue. And just, this is how these work. Like, it's the coolest thing for oil paint. It looks, I haven't put one through a stencil yet. So let's just see. See what we get. And this is an underlayer, so it truly doesn't matter. But it's fun. Get that little circle, and then it looks like, from the classes that she teaches, it looks like anybody can do this. And I mean, the only obstacles you have are, do you have the supplies? And you don't need the sticks to do this. This would work just as easy with a palette knife and a tube. But that looks so dark. Like, I thought this was black, but then when you see it as it lightens, you can tell it's green. Okay. So I save most of my paint, and I'll show you what I do with it. But this is not a color that I think I would ever use. So I'm just gonna wipe it off on. I just wanted something dark, so when I put something light on top, like something fun might happen. Okay, let's pull this off and see what we got. Okay, that's perfect. That's kind of what she has going on in her videos. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. And that I'm gonna save. What's on the stencil, I'm gonna save, and I'll show you what I do with it. Okay, now, I don't think I'm going to use the blender stick, but I'm going to use, I think, an opaque color on top of it. And I think I'm just going to use this yellow. We're just going to see what happens. She acts like there is no plan at all. So that's what we're going to do. And since I've got them in these Ziploc bags, and this is not like a way you store them, that's just what I did to not make a mess. Oh, interesting. And see, you can draw, like I could just leave it like that if I wanted. And if I hate it, I can, because everything's dry, I can pull it right up. So now we're gonna see what happens to it when I use this. It may be something I like. It may be something I don't like. Okay, so see where the lines are? See how the yellow is getting in the lines? This seems to be the key to what she's doing with this. And I've seen other channels, and you can, I'm going to drag it over and just see what happens. I'll drag it with some of the color. Oh, that kind of stayed. That's kind of amazing. And then we'll drag some of that red through here. Okay, so this is kind of essentially all you do. I'm going to try a couple of other things just to see, like, I'm going to see what happens when I put tissue paper over this. Does it ruin it, or does it somehow enhance it? That's cool. And then, you know, you could use this for collage. That is really cool. That looks pretty. Look how green that is. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's really pretty. So I love that. You just have to make sure you don't drop this stuff on the floor. I'm gonna weight that down. And I think I want to get a little bit more of that off. So I have a little bit more tissue paper. Do it again. The whole seems successful. I'm going to kind of press down a little more sturdy and see what happens. Oh my gosh, I like that. So that's great for people who do collage. All right. And then there is a way to kind of pull this off. So I'm going to clean this off and I'm going to try swiping it across. Okay, so let's just try and pull some of this paint away. Ooh, isn't that pretty? And see, it like exposes colors. Like you couldn't paint this yourself. That is really pretty. Let me get this up. You just have to be mindful of your area. that you don't leave this oil paint because it takes legitimately forever to dry. I'm going to try this scraper and see what happens. This one's different. It's coming off. The yellow is really stuck in these lines. And I may be doing it completely wrong, but just practicing, just trying. Now I want to see what happens if I wipe over this. Okay, it kind of distorts it a little bit, but that's cool looking. Okay, so I'm not going to go over that. I might go over this. This is a little thick. Get some of that off. Okay, so what this was yellow, and this was the umber. And I am going to try and get a little more of this off. Just in the hopes that it will dry a little quicker. It's really still giving me a nice design. Love this. Love that stencil too. It's so beautiful. Okay, so now you're supposed to be able to scrape and do, that's giving me a little bit of design, a little bit of swirl, but nothing fantastic. And she uses metal, like a metal pottery tool. This is just kind of like a serrated looking spatula. And I think the goal is to just really get down to that white. And then, you know, come in with your non-dominant hand, which is my left hand, and just kind of get some of those colors. And if you don't like it, like I think that's way too much, look at that. Because it's oil paint, you just cover it right back up. This is sheetrock tape. And we'll just see what happens, because it's kind of like a stencil. And we'll just kind of, first, let's use a brayer. See what happens when we brayer it. It may make a design, it may not. It does make a design. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is super cool. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to go over this with this. And the beauty of it is you cannot make a mistake, and you don't need it to be lined up perfectly. But you do need to remember to clean all your tools when you're done, because they will be a mess. This way it doesn't look so perfect. And it's kind of given some texture to it. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. So just whatever you have in your stash. And let's see what happens when I just do that. That takes away some of that print. And then this I can just trash because I have a whole giant roll of it. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry, and I'll just continue to come back with all my next steps. And I don't really have any paint left over. I do have paint on that stencil. I'll show you guys what I do with that. Okay, so this is just a watercolor book that I picked up from Five Below. And it's a 9x12 with 38 sheets, 300 GSM. So here, I'm just gonna clean this off with a paper towel and just see what happens. I mean, I hate to waste any of the paint, and I'm sure I could use any of these papers as a tag. And this is helping me clean this off. Just see what happens, see what we come up with. You can't be afraid to get this stuff on your fingers. And some people use gloves. I don't know if I said that. I've noticed a lot of people in watching oil paint, they're using gloves. And I have oil paint and I use oil paint. I'm familiar with it, but I mean, it doesn't seem necessary to me. It washes off with soap and water. So I'm just gonna, because I'm not going for perfection, I'm just gonna see what happens when we layer this over top. Just get all the stuff off. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? So you get some accidental beautiful things on paper when you clean off on your paper. It's just you have to remember to have the paper ready and available. So, and this will take a couple of days to dry, but if you sit it over a ledge and just hang it off, then you have this piece. And there's nothing valuable about it. If it's messed up, it just doesn't matter. So, okay, so in a few days, I'll come back and we will try the next layer. Putting away my paint, and I thought, what if we use this Phthalo Green Pale pigment stick and just kind of drew a design on it. So it's such a pretty blue. And just kind of do maybe like a swirl, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so I just want to show every step, and I am going to try to thin it out. And let's put this yellow back on here. And just kind of get some of this off because it went on a little thick. Oh, ooh, isn't that pretty? I'm gonna press it one more time. I'm not sure I'm loving that spot right there, but I'm gonna leave it. Just kind of, this will help it dry a little more. So barely any came up, but look, those small little pieces look nice. Yeah, that was bugging me. Okay, so there, because that would have taken forever to dry. Okay, so there, now I've got a little more design on it, I guess, for the background. So today it's been drying, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and I'm sure this is that's still a little damp, but I wanted, this takes forever. I wanted to do orange and blue on top of this. So I don't have an orange, and I know I could mix an orange, but what I wanted to do is use some cold wax. So I'm gonna grab my cold wax and I'm going to use this orange that I have and kind of mix it over here in my watercolor book. All right, so I have my Gamblin Cold Wax Medium, and I have taken the little can top off. And this is how it looks, kind of like that. Okay, so this is my first time ever using this. And we're just gonna, that is way too much. Okay. I bought this from blick.com. Pretty much all my stuff I get from blick.com. And it looks like you can just press it back into place. Oh, fantastic. I thought I was going to need a hammer. Okay, great. So get that out of the way. And I wanted orange and blue for the next layer. I don't even know if I need much more than that. I don't even know if I need that much. This is a very old tube. Oh my gosh. It costs $4.50. So this is supposed to give, it's supposed to help it dry. And although I wanted to use all pigment sticks, they did not give me an orange. And this yellow that I put on here, that was a translucent. And you can tell, because, or transparent, because it'll say transparent right on them. So we'll just see. This is supposed to help it. It's not changing the color at all, which is nice. And I could have mixed, I think, a red and a yellow and gotten an orange, but I didn't feel like doing that. Okay, so, and they come in bigger sizes too. Like, here is the regular size. This is a white. It's just got from my fingers on it. And then here's a titanium zinc white. So, not real sure what I'm going to do. I thought about maybe spreading this through a stencil. That's cool. That's cool. That's kind of cool. This was the original one I wanted to do. Let's just see what happens. So that looks really cool. And then I've got this that I could use for something else. Okay, so we've got that. And that used way more paint than I thought it would. Okay, now I want blue on it, and I want like an off-white. So I'm gonna pick one of these blue teal colors. Let's see, they give you 2 of these. And they're so similar in color. This is cobalt teal, and this is blue turquoise. I'm gonna use the lighter one. This is feeling very dark. What is this? Is this semi-transparent? And what is this one? Opaque. Okay, so we're gonna use opaque. I want some, like, coverage. Okay, so we got that down. That's crazy looking. And I'm gonna stick that back in the bag. You just have to be so careful with this stuff. And I want it to be kind of off-white. Neutral white. I'm loving this. I'm not loving too much of the other stuff. So I'm going to take this off. And then I'm going to put more of this on. Like, to me, that's so pretty, but on top of that dark, that's not so pretty anymore. But it may turn out pretty. This is you can kind of move and shape. It's a silicone spreader, but that's cool. Kind of moving stuff around. Okay, that's nice. That's creating something nice. I'm liking what's going on here. I'm not a fan of that. Okay, so I'm getting a brown, but I like it. And I kind of am liking these lines. I'm like really using my hand very soft. Okay, now I like that better. And, oh, I like that much better. So maybe thickness is not what I like on this. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice. That's lovely. Gosh, that turned out really pretty. Looks planned. Okay. Let's see what happens if we put white on it. Okay, so I have painted, I have moved around, I have kind of blended, and now I am going to, actually I've got some white right here. Wouldn't mind having that in there, that's nice. Okay, that's good. Good. I've pretty much used that little bit of paint that I've gotten out. I am not loving this. I'm going to take this off. Okay, and do that. Do that. And then I'm going to ball this up and see if I can't pull anything. I'm enjoying the white that's kind of going around, lightening it up. It's getting so dark. And then I'm going to carve into it. So now this layer I'm not loving, so I don't really care what happens to this layer. She carves in really very hard. That I am putting a lot of pressure on this. Oh wow, look at that. Well, this is neat. Probably the next layer I will do on this will be like a light color. So that really, I pulled up some stuff there. Like I pulled up that whiteboard. Okay, so that's going to be a super deep one. I'm going to get a dry towel because the wet is slippery on my hands. I don't want to cut myself. Okay, I'm going to try with my non-dominant hand, trying to guide it. Now this to me seems to be the trick, getting these deep lines. But I mean, I think okay, and I'm using this little edge right here, right there. That little, it's a little edge on it. Okay, so maybe I'll do a, see now, right now I'm wondering what would happen if I put gold on it. Let's try it. I mean, look at it. Yuck. It doesn't, nothing's gonna damage this. Yuck. Okay. And then where's my wedge? Okay, that's strange looking. I mean, I probably should have let it dry, but this is taking an extreme amount of patience to do. That is 100% brown right there. But like I said, if you wind up not liking it, you can get it off. All right, we're just gonna keep going. So I'm gonna do more orange because orange is what I wanted in the first place and I didn't get. So I'm gonna clean this off with a baby wipe. Okay, so I'm starting to see why there's not a start to finish on this R&F Pigment sticks and like the set and the gesso board that I'm working on. So the insanity that just ensued and all the different decisions that were made, I wound up with this when I was cleaning up my scrapers, and I think this thing's called a silicone shaper. I picked it up at Color Shaper. I picked it up at, this is a 1 inch, I think the other one's a 2 inch. And I like the bigger one better. I use the bigger one more on canvases, but like something like this is a nice size for your smaller stuff. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up and just do it as a part 1 because this is going to take a long time. But what I'm going to do to show you something finished is, in my frustration, I grabbed another oil painting that I had going and used those pigment sticks, which the way the pigment sticks are is just the coolest thing to me. The way you can just kind of draw with that. I just love it. Like I've got this right here. I cannot get this open. This is, my husband tried to get it open. We've used like a gripper to get it open. It's going to have to be cut open. Now the pigment sticks, you do not have that issue. Now you have to store them in a plastic bag, which might seem messy, but anyways, I just wanted to show, look at this cool piece of like art that I came up with just from mixing these, what is it, 3 colors? It was the white, the orange, and then that teal blue. And I think I said you got 2 teals in the set. No, I think I bought one separate and another one came in the set. The set, I think it says online what's in the set, but then I cleaned off my stencil just with a baby wipe, no, a paper towel. And I got this coolness. And it doesn't seem to really cause a problem. I'll probably ball up a little piece of paper or something and a little piece of paper towel and let it sit and let this dry. But this is very inspiring to me, how I have just the orange and the blue, the white and the blue, how they kind of made a camouflage green color. Like this is just a jump start into a whole nother painting on a large canvas. I love it. So if I hadn't have gotten frustrated with that little gesso board, which I've never worked with one before, and I've never tried this way of painting where you kind of are layering on this hard surface. I always use canvas, and it's really different. But anyways, I wouldn't have come up with this, and I just wanted to say that we will finish that original gesso board painting. We will pull it together. I will bring it back onto the rails and pull it into something. But it might be like a part 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, because this is a long video. And on that note, because it's long, I'm going to stop talking. I will show you the painting that I created. I have it drying. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, so this one I kind of started in the same way, where I had the ultramarine blue and that, I think it was a cadmium red, and did a stencil, painted over it. So we will get it to come back together. Look how wet. I hope you can see this. How wet oil paint is. It's so cool. It's just the coolest thing. And in my opinion, the colors are richer when they dry than acrylic. I still love acrylic paint. I have acrylic painting abstract that I did hanging right above my desk here. But I just kind of wanted to show you, don't ever get frustrated. Just let it sit and dry. So this will probably take at least 7 days to dry before I can paint the edges. And in my opinion, this is finished. So this is a 12 by 12 canvas. It's a wrapped edge canvas. I believe it's either from Michael's or it might be from Blick, because I did a really big order last month and I ordered some of their canvases to try them out. I'm pretty positive this is a Blick canvas, which I really like. It's great. Yeah, looks good. I like how it's, stapled around the back. and I have these pretty edges. So before I drop this, I'm gonna go sit this down, but just wanted to let you know that we will pull it, or I will pull it in something. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video, which will probably be in a week when that thing dries. Okay, thanks, bye.